Michel Foucault's Discipline and Punish is a powerful and detailed study of how modern societies control people. Foucault looks at how punishment changed over time, from violent public executions to the quiet, hidden systems of discipline we see today in prisons, schools, hospitals, and even workplaces. His main idea is that modern power does not work mainly through force or violence, but through watching, training, and shaping people's behavior. This is called disciplinary power, and Foucault shows how it spread across society and became a central part of modern life. The book begins with a shocking description of a public execution in the 1700s. This was a time when criminals were punished in brutal and public ways, show the power of the king and scare people into obedience. But soon this kind of punishment was replaced with something quieter and more hidden, the prison. Instead of hurting the body, modern punishment aims to control the mind, soul, and everyday behavior. Foucault asks why this shift happened and what it tells us about modern society. The first part of the book, Torture, looks at punishment before the modern prison system. In the past, punishment was about revenge and spectacle. The criminal's body was the target. The goal was to show the power of the ruler, but this method was full of problems. It could cause rebellion, create sympathy for the criminal, and was hard to control. Over time, people started to demand a more civilized system of justice, one that would not be so violent but still keep society under control. In Punishment, the second part, Foucault describes how punishment started to move away from the body and toward the soul. Instead of public executions, punishment became more about surveillance, correction, and rehabilitation. Courts and judges now try to understand the criminal's motives, personality, and background. Prisons were built to isolate and reform people. This shift made punishment more scientific and moral on the surface, but Foucault says it actually made power even more controlling. Now, instead of simply being punished, people were being reshaped from within. The third part, Discipline, is the heart of the book. Here, Foucault explains how modern society developed detailed methods to control people. Discipline is a type of power that works by organizing space, time, and behavior. It teaches people how to act, how to move, how to think. It is used in schools, armies, factories, hospitals, and prisons. Discipline creates obedient, productive, and useful bodies. One of the most important ideas in this section is the panopticon, a design for a prison created by Jeremy Bentham. The panopticon is a circular building with a tower in the center. The guards can watch all the prisoners from the tower, but the prisoners cannot see the guards because they never know when they are being watched. The prisoners start to watch themselves. This idea that people control their own behavior because they believe they are being watched becomes a model for how power works in modern society. Surveillance becomes internal. We begin to discipline ourselves. Foucault shows how this type of power spreads everywhere. Schools use bells, time schedules, grades, and inspections to shape students. Armies train soldiers to march in sync and follow commands without question. Hospitals organize bodies, track symptoms, and classify. Even factories use time cards and supervision to control workers. These systems do not just punish bad behavior, they create new habits, knowledge, and norms. They produce individuals who are trying to behave in specific ways. The last part of the book, Prison, returns to the modern prison system. Foucault argues that prisons do not work the way people think they do. They don't stop crime and they do not really reform criminals. Instead, they serve to organize and control people, especially those who are considered dangerous, poor, or different. Prisons create of delinquents, people who are watched, studied, and kept under control. These people are not just locked away, they are made into objects of knowledge and power. Foucault's goal is not just to talk about prisons, but to show how modern society has created new ways of controlling people that are much more detailed and subtle than in the past. The shift from public torture to modern discipline may seem like progress, but it also means that power is now everywhere. It is not just in the hands of kings or police, but in the systems we live under every day. The result is a society that constantly shapes and monitors its members, often without them even realizing.